not you either. That's the funny thing.
Well, that was a picture of me. But,
yeah, but that's not how you
but
are.
that's not how I behave normally.
No,
No,
never. No.
All right, so what this segment's all about, and we encourage you to jump into the segment. This is a segment. I call it road rage, but what I really wanted to talk about was what behavior by other drivers on the road drives me insane and makes me borderline angry. But I don't get that angry about it. I just say, what am I going to do, So anyway, the thing that gets me is I'm in a really highly trafficked street that's hardly moving, and somebody's coming out of 7 Brew who just got their coffee, and they don't want to pull onto the street, okay? They want to go the other direction. Oh. So they have to cross 3 lanes, 2 regular lanes of traffic, bumper to bumper, and then they got to get in the suicide lane and make a left turn without getting hit from the cars that are coming the other way. So that's my pet peeve and my road rage thing. Now, Wendy says, they're in a hurry to pull out in front of you, force you to slam on your brakes, going down and they drive 2 miles an hour. That
drives me
yeah,
crazy when somebody
crazy.
Gets in front of me and then they put along. I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me?
Right. And Patricia says, how about if they get in the passing lane, the high-speed lane, and they only go 20 miles an hour?
Colleen, what did Colleen say? Wait.
Colleen says, putting on makeup, going across the causeway at 90.
Like, there's not enough wrecks on the Causeway Bridge. That is crazy.
That is crazy.
People, and that kind of stuff. What makes me crazy is those 18-wheelers. That freaks me out. And it's because I have a Pilot. It's not a big car. And they will, especially when we go to Lafayette, and they will just fly.
Yeah,
and the speed limit's like 60 or even maybe even less for the
trucks, right?
For the trucks, and they will go past you going so fast, and I'm like, somebody's gonna die.
Yep.
That makes me so angry. It does. It really does. Yep. But I do have a little story to tell about myself.
Are you gonna tell on yourself?
I'm gonna tell on myself.
Uh-oh.
So I live out in Prairieville, and there's a lot of little country roads that you can go down. And so what helps you chill when feeling insane?
Oh, we'll come back and do that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Terry. We'll do that one.
Yeah. So I went and picked up Lindsay's dog. They had went snow skiing, and I went and picked up their little poodle. And their poodle doesn't it screams.
You saying poodles are high strung?
Well, their poodle gets in the car and it just, it's just this weird yell. So of course
it's like a cry.
It's like a cry. I'm speeding to get to my house because I don't think she likes the car. So I'm letting her drive. I'm letting her on my lap drive, which is probably illegal. And so I'm looking around, just trying to drive and going a little fast. And I'm like,
you're not letting go of the steering wheel, are you?
No, but I'm like, I know there's not going to be a cop because there's no cops over here. Well, guess what? There was a cop. I got a ticket.
Oh, God.
And I got a speeding ticket. And I deserved it. But I just never would think a cop would be on this road. Well, because there's never been a cop on that road.
That was the first time.
So today, it was yesterday, my husband tells me, a couple of days ago, he's like, you need to figure out what's going on with that ticket. Well, they had printed it out on a little receipt. And people who know me know that I'm not the best at keeping track of paper stuff. Well, I was like, oh my God. So I told Peanut, I said, I need to call and find out. So I called the sheriff's office and they're like, okay. I said, what do I need to do? I need to pay this ticket. I don't have it. They give me the number and all this. And they're like, well, you're supposed to be in court right now for my ticket. Because I forgot to pay it. And I was like, my court was right then. And so they were like, I said, well, what's going to happen? And they were like, well, we'll just have a bench warrant. I'm like, what? I said, a bench warrant? I'm like, I'm not a drug addict or anything. Are you kidding me? And so they were like, no, here's the judge's number. You got to call, talk to the secretary. Talk to the secretary. They weren't worried about it. I got to pay it online. But yeah, so that was my little experience on how irresponsible am I. I should have just paid it when I got home that day. But,
I haven't had that many tickets in my life, but I have a couple of really gems. Okay, here's two gems that I had. One of them is that I agreed to do some ink lettering of graphs for a grad student to go in his dissertation, because back in the 60s and 70s, we didn't have all of the computing facilities that could make these things automatically. So you would do it with Leroy lettering, and it would come out really nice, but they were very tedious work. And so I made a deal. I would do his 20 or so graphs for $100. So, but I was in New Orleans, and I had to get back up to Baton Rouge to go do it. I was down there, and I said, well, I'll just drive to Baton Rouge. I'll spend all day Saturday. I'll be back Saturday night, and I'll make $100. So on the way to away from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, I get a speeding ticket for $100.
Oh, that's the worst.
and that's before I did the inking, the drawings.
Oh.
So now I know I have to work all day long for nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So that was a really sinking feeling, and it was my fault. I was speeding on Nicholson.
And we've all speeded. I mean,
Right,
we all
yeah.
done that before, because you're just like, oh my gosh.
Here's another good one, which I got, and that is that we were downtown, and I was not familiar with downtown very much at all. And I'm driving. Margaret would have done a better job because she knew downtown, but I didn't. So I'm going across, I think it's the 9th Street Bridge or something like that. And there's like 2 traffic lights in a row, or there were 2 traffic lights in a row. I went through the first one. The second one's red. I go straight through that red light. Well, who is right behind me but a police officer? So that was the quickest ticket that I ever got. Was he was right there. He didn't have to go find me or anything.
That's the worst. And you know what's so bad? My kids told me this. Like Peanut told me this. She's like, Mom, do you realize if I would have lost my ticket and I would have been a bench warrant, you would have I would have been so mad at them.
You'd have been upset with
but
her, yeah,
like
right.
that, it was kind of like good for me in a way.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like, well, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, yeah.
I make a lot of mistakes. I mean, I do, but it's just like, oh my gosh, I really can't believe I did this.
Oh, here's another one from Patricia. She says, you're at a traffic light and they're like on your bumper. Okay.
I know. That is, I don't like that either.
Yeah, we have this problem in our neighborhood because there's like a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit on the parkway.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go 35, you start building up a row of cars behind you who don't want to go 35.
And people get crazy.
Yeah.
People do. People get crazy.
And they're definitely a car length or less behind you sometimes, and that's not enough to stop, so that would be bad. Okay, if you got any other road rage things, type them in, but we got
Texting and driving.
Well,
Well, we
yeah.
have to watch Miss.
We're going to come back to Miss Terry's.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we finish this, but
Yeah.
Troy, I got one even worse than that.
That drives me crazy.
I used to read a book on the way to work and on the way home.
Dad!
In the car.
It's so funny now that I'm getting older and you hear all these things. The parents just are just like me. The parents are harder on the children, and they're doing the same bad stuff.
Well, we didn't tell you this when you were our driving age, so we don't want to let you know about all that kind of stuff.
I know. Absolutely. I know.
Right.
I know.